Hello, and welcome to another edition of Step Up to Health. I'm Deb James, the Wellness RN for you. And first and foremost, may I say Happy International Women's Day. Yay! Also, Happy Women's History Month. In the spirit of that, I am going to focus for the next few weeks on issues specific to women's health. First issue I'm going to talk about is stroke, also known as CVA or cerebral vascular accident. A lot of big words for the same thing. Blood don't get to the brain, parts of brain die. I'm sure many of you are aware of the recent untimely passing of the actor Luke Perry from a massive stroke. And it's sad. It's not unusual, but it's not the norm either. And people will say, well, he looked so good. He was in good shape and, he was active. Unfortunately, that doesn't matter because whatever you look like on the outside has absolutely nothing to do with what your vessels look like on the inside. In fact, the baseline for your blood vessels in terms of how open they are or how narrow they are, that happens when you're in your 20s. So it's set. Now you can do things to help mitigate those issues, but basically the plaque on the inside of the arteries is going to get worse over time. And it's just a matter of time in terms of what happens. So, FAST, that's a phrase I want you to remember. FAST. F stands for face. So if you're having drooping on one side or severe numbness or tingling, that could be an indicator of stroke. A stands for arms. So you want to hold both arms straight out in front of you with the palms up and see if you can keep them both at the same level. If one arm starts to drift down, again, it's another indication of possible stroke. S stands for speech. If you are having slurred speech or very slow, disjointed speech, that could be another indicator of a stroke. Also, you could be having issues where you are talking about one thing, but what's coming out of your mouth has nothing to do with what your brain is saying or your brain wants to come out. So if you're trying to tell someone your dog got loose and ran up the street, it might come out as the garbage can jumped the curb and took off in a plane. It happens. And if you are still having trouble with the words not connecting to what your brain's wanting to say, again, that's another indicator of stroke. T stands for time. So you want to know when these symptoms started happening. The reason for that is that once you get to the emergency room, it can be a factor in terms of the type of medication or the type of treatment you receive based on what's happening and based on when things started occurring. And so T also stands for time to call 911. So it's not time to say, oh, well, Just wait and see if it goes away. It's not time to say, well, I just don't have time to have any problems right now. This is a very, very serious situation and it needs to be addressed. And that means calling 911 and getting in an ambulance and going to the hospital. So it doesn't mean getting somebody to drive you there. It definitely doesn't mean driving yourself. It is an emergency situation and you need to call for an ambulance. Unfortunately, women are typically the primary caregivers or caretakers. And so a lot of times we will tend to kind of blow things off. We will say, oh, it's not a big deal. It'll go away after a while. Or we'll say, this happened before and I was fine. Everything went away. I was fine. You are the primary caretaker. As I've said before, if you go down, who's going to take your place? It matters. You matter. Your health matters. And if you are trying to convince yourself repeatedly that you are not having a stroke, guess what? You probably are. And it needs to be addressed. And you need to receive treatment ASAP. So again, fast. Face, drooping, numbness, tingling. Arms, hold them both out, palms up. If one starts to slide down, not good. S, speech. If you're having slurring or very disjointed speech, again, another indicator. And then T is for time. You want to know when these incidences started happening. And you also won't know that it's time to call 911. Okay? Let me touch on something that I spoke about last week. I have needed to change my surprise on the website. Just life happens and things happen. So what I want to say is that April 15th, there will be a very special surprise on the website. Something that'll make you feel good because it's tax day. All right. So keep checking out the website, www.angelictouchhealthandwellness.net. And you can also check out my Facebook group, the 40-Day Club, where we provide inspiration in 40-day increments. And right now we're almost finishing up our 40 days of love. So have a great week. Women, celebrate yourselves all month. And I'll see you next time.